Greetings from the Charter School Office. I'm going to be talking to you a few minutes about the review of the audit financial statement sheet that we have for the office. I'm Albert Bertram, the finance specialist for the office. So this document essentially takes the 50 to 60 page audit and summarizes it into 4 pages. We use it in our office as a communication between myself and others in the office. So we're going to try to bring that out to the boards and school members more effectively with these videos. So let us know what you think. So this sheet will let you compare from year to year a lot easier. Instead of having to flip through individual pages of a massive audit, you'll have just 4 pages essentially to compare from year to year. And then there's some comparisons on the sheet. So as we move into the sheet, you'll see that everything's titled Statement of Net Position. To show you where this is at on the audit, that everything comes from the title in the audit. We'll go to the audit real quick. Here is the statement of net position right here, and you'll see the total current assets is right there, 5,918,359, and then the total assets is 26,615. So if we go back to our sheet, we'll see that there's our 26,615, and our current assets is 5,918. So that's where these numbers are derived from. At the bottom, you'll see the ending net position for the year. And then the previous net position is last year, so that's a means of comparison right there. You'll see that the ending net position went a little more negative this year compared to last year. So that is that section. As we move into the balance sheet down here, know that this is actually the general fund current assets, and this is labeled general fund, but this just says current assets. So the balance sheet is 2 pages after the statement of net positions in the audit, so 1, 2, then we'll see all the general funds assets here, and then what they're classified as over here. And then as we scroll down, you'll see the fund balance classification, and then the amounts right here. So these numbers should reflect, here's the cash and such over here, and here's the individual non-spendable unassigned amounts. So if you don't know what these are defined in the audit. So unassigned is amounts that are available for any purpose. These amounts are reported only in the general fund, and then I'll just hover over these. If you want to ask a question, you can pause the video or ask someone. I won't get into them. But non-spendable is amounts that cannot be spent because they are either not in spendable form or are legally or contractually required to remain intact. So those are the 2 that we have for Bradford as far as fund classifications. A lot of times non-spendable is associated directly with prepaids. That isn't the case here. Not all of it is classified as prepaid, but that is usually the case because you can't spend what you've already spent. So moving down the sheet, before I move down the sheet, I forgot this up in here. This shows the breakdown of revenues and expenditures for the year. Then it shows the net change. Here's the beginning fund balance, ending fund balance. So that summarizes it pretty well. Then underneath that, we just have some percentages. So general fund divided by revenues takes the ending general fund and then divides it by the revenues. General fund minus restricted would take the ending general fund minus, if there was a restricted amount down here, and then divided it by the revenues. Same thing here. General fund equal general fund divided by expenditures. And then this one takes the ending general fund and divides it by the beginning general fund. So it's 204% because the ending general fund is essentially doubled what the beginning general fund was. And that makes sense because the net change was $717,000 compared to the beginning general fund of $684. So that's what that tells you. If that was below 100%, then the general fund would have gone down. So that's what that signifies. Moving down, we'll get to this section. This is the kind of the summary of page 4. Page 4 has the written information associated with all of these things. Net notes payable, is usually associated with a state aid note. If there's short-term financing outside of the state, that can be here too, but usually it's state aid notes. Long-term debt is usually bonded debt, which is the case for Bradford Academy. There's no capital operating leases, and then management fees is summarized here. So this ratio, or this percentage, takes the total management fees and then divides it by the state aid on the next sheet, which I will scroll down there. Yep, so the total state aid sources, so that's where that number is derived from. This earned fall 2013 takes the management fee and divides it by the 2013 count, which is the corresponding count for this fiscal year, the June 30th, 2014 fiscal year. So that fall count is used in a couple calculations like right here. So that's that. Revenues per square footage takes the total square footage here, and then revenues per square footage divides it by that square footage. Same with the expense. Then the difference. Payment per square foot actually takes the principal and interest payments on the debt, the long-term debt for the building, and then divides it by the total square footage. So though there's a forbearance agreement, I left it as it was because just for comparison, when the forbearance agreement isn't enacted anymore. So that's that. Operations and maintenance takes the line item from operations and maintenance on the next page and divides it by the square footage. And then the square footage divided by the fall 2013 count just takes the square footage and divides it by the fall count, that 2013 fall count. So the next page, general fund percentage comparison sheet. This will compare the breakdown of that little square up in the upper right hand corner of page 1. So this will show you your revenue sources for the current year, for the June 30th 2014 year I should say, and then the June 30th 2013 year. So this compares, and then this does the difference. Same thing with instruction, and then the support services, and then anything else down here. If there's ever a question about what these numbers are, I've gotten that a few times, so just to help with that, I took the accounting manual, and you can come up to the I put it in Word, and then you can come up here, push find, and then type in whatever you wanted. If you want to know about general administration, you could type that in, push enter, make sure you click on the results part here, and then this will go through this document and show you where everything is. So this is the code number that classifies what it should be classified as in the accounting system. And then if you want a description, you keep clicking down here a little further. This one will show that it consists of activities concerned with establishing policy, blah, blah, blah. So that's just another tool. If anyone ever has questions, it's pretty quick to get an answer doing it that way. So these numbers should match up with the general fund numbers on the first page. There's our 717. There's our ending general fund balance of 1.4 million. So this next part here shows the original budget, the final budget, and the actual budget. I put this note here for myself and others in the office that upcoming fiscal year, the budget is due July 1. That's much earlier than the school year, and there's not a whole lot of information made available at that time. So that's why there's a potential discrepancy between these two numbers. And then this just takes the percent difference between actual and the final budget amount, which there's a pretty big difference of $714,000 in this case. So this area is just the instruction as a percent of revenues. So the total instruction up here would be this divided by total revenues. So Bradford was 42, 42, and 35 this year. So it actually went down in 2014 compared to the prior two years. And then June 30th, 2014, this just takes the revenues divided by the fall 2013 count. So same thing here, expenditures, and then the difference. So that's what that is. Down here we have the count. If we look at this one again, you'll see that this fall 2013 is the count that's used in several of these calculations. So that's that one. These are all from SEPI. So that's where this data is. If it's a little different from your state aid amounts or the other amounts, I know there's count data all over. So this is from SEPI. This one, however, is the one that I received this fall through Epicenter. It was the unaudited one. So if this is different from your audited number, that would be what that difference is about. Here's a graphical display for those of us who like graphical displays versus the numbers table. Before I move on, this is the percent change. So this will show you the difference between the two count dates that are right next to each other, so fall and spring, etc. So moving down here, we have free and reduced lunch rates. These are from SEPI as well. And then this is the percent free and reduced lunch compared to the corresponding fall count. And then we have our graphical display down here as well. Now this is page 4. This is the informational page. This has a lot of that stuff on page 1 that those 4, the notes payable and the long-term debt, etc. That stuff's all here in the debt section. I did mention the forbearance agreement, so anyone who reads the audit will see that, and us in our office know that. And then I put this calculation down here. This is that's price per square foot calculation that I mentioned briefly, and where what the numbers are. Management fees. This is page 8 of the audit. This says just what the management fees are. And then findings. There was no findings, and last year's finding was corrected, the free and reduced lunch one. And then I just included this financial analysis of the academy as a whole information for the benefit of whoever reads this as well. This is reviewed, and here is my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to ask myself or Pat Victor or anyone at the school that can help with any questions, and hopefully you got some benefit from this. Thanks for all you do for the children of Michigan, and have a good one. Stay warm. Hopefully it's warmer down there than it is up here.